Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I'm your host, Hunter. In a world that never stops talking, silence has become rare. Everywhere we look there is noise. Phones vibrate, notifications appear, people share their opinions, music plays in the background. The television fills empty rooms. Even when we are alone, our minds often continue the conversation. Many of us have become so accustomed to noise that silence feels uncomfortable. The moment things become quiet, we reach for something to distract us. We check our phones, we turn on a video, we call someone, we search for something to occupy our attention. But what if silence is not something to avoid? What if silence is something we have forgotten how to hear? Some of the most important moments in life do not arrive with flashing lights or loud announcements. They arrive quietly, a realization, an insight, a feeling of peace, a deeper understanding of who we are. Silence is not empty. Silence is full of answers. Think about nature for a moment. A forest does not shout. A mountain does not argue. A river does not try to convince you of anything. Yet many people report feeling more connected, more peaceful, and more alive when surrounded by nature than when surrounded by constant noise. Why is that? Because silence creates space. And in that space, we begin to hear things we normally miss. When we are constantly distracted, we become disconnected from ourselves. We move from task to task, thought to thought, worry to worry, we live on autopilot. Stillness interrupts that pattern. Stillness invites us to stop running. For many people, the first experience of true stillness is uncomfortable. The moment they sit quietly, thoughts begin to appear, old memories surface, worries arise, unfinished emotions come to the surface. This often causes people to believe they are doing something wrong, but they are not. The thoughts were already there. The silence simply allowed them to be noticed. Imagine a muddy pond. If the water is constantly stirred, it remains cloudy, but if left alone long enough, the mud settles to the bottom and the water becomes clear. The human mind works much the same way. Stillness allows the mud to settle. Clarity emerges naturally. Many spiritual traditions throughout history have recognized this truth. Whether it is meditation, prayer, contemplation, or simply sitting quietly beneath a tree, people have long understood that silence can become a doorway, not a doorway to somewhere else, a doorway back to ourselves. Most people spend their lives searching for answers outside of themselves. They look for someone to tell them what to think. They seek certainty in books, videos, teachers, and endless information. There is nothing wrong with learning from others, but eventually there comes a moment when knowledge must become wisdom, and wisdom often emerges in silence. Have you ever noticed that your best ideas rarely appear when you are forcing them? Sometimes they arrive while walking, sometimes while showering, sometimes while sitting quietly doing nothing at all. When the mind relaxes, insight has room to enter. Silence is not the absence of life. It is the space where life becomes easier to hear. Stillness teaches patience. It teaches observation. It teaches awareness. Most importantly, it teaches us that we do not need to react to every thought that enters our mind. Thoughts come and go. Emotions come and go. Experiences come and go. But there is a deeper part of us that remains. Stillness helps us discover that part. And many people believe peace is something they must achieve someday in the future. They imagine peace as a destination, but peace may be much closer than we realize. Perhaps peace is what remains when we stop fighting the present moment Perhaps peace is already here beneath all the noise. The challenge is not creating peace. The challenge is noticing it. This is why moments of silence can feel so powerful. For a brief moment, the endless commentary of the mind becomes quieter, and something deeper emerges. Some call it awareness, some call it presence, some call it spirit. The name does not matter. The experience does. In stillness, we begin to see ourselves more clearly. We recognize habits we were unaware of. We notice fears we've been carrying. We become aware of patterns that no longer serve us. This awareness is not meant to judge us. It is meant to free us. You cannot change what you refuse to see, and silence helps us see. Stillness is not about escaping life. It is about meeting life fully. When we slow down enough to be present, ordinary moments become extraordinary. A sunrise becomes more beautiful. A conversation becomes more meaningful. A walk becomes more peaceful. A breath becomes something sacred. The world has not changed. Our awareness has, and awareness changes everything. If you feel lost, spend time in silence. If you feel overwhelmed, spend time in stillness. If you feel disconnected, spend time with nature. Not because silence will magically solve every problem, but because silence allows you to hear what the noise has been covering up. The answers you seek may not arrive immediately. They may not arrive dramatically over time. Something begins to shift. Your mind becomes calmer. Your awareness becomes clearer. Your relationship with yourself becomes deeper. You begin to trust your inner wisdom. And perhaps most importantly, you discover that you are capable of being at peace without needing the world around you to change first. That is the gift of silence. That is the power of stillness, not because it gives you something new, but because it reveals what was already there all along. So today, give yourself a few moments, turn off the noise, put down the phone, step outside, take a slow breath, listen, not for the next distraction, not for the next opinion, not for the next piece of information. Listen for the quiet, because within that quiet may be a wisdom that has been waiting patiently for your attention. And you may discover that the peace you have been searching for was never far away. It was simply hidden beneath the noise. Why do so many spiritual traditions, separated by thousands of miles and hundreds of years, all seem to point toward the same idea? Be here, be now, pay attention to this moment. Whether it is found in Buddhism, Taoism, indigenous wisdom, meditation practices, contemplative traditions, or modern mindfulness teachings, the message appears again and again. The present moment matters. But why? What is so special about now? Most people spend much of their lives somewhere other than the present moment. The body may be here, but the mind is elsewhere. Thinking about yesterday, worrying about tomorrow, replaying old conversations, imagining future scenarios, wondering what could have been, wondering what might be. The mind becomes a traveler, moving endlessly through time, yet life itself is always happening here, right now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, this moment. The strange thing is that most of us understand this intellectually. We know the present moment is important, yet actually living in the present can feel surprisingly difficult. The reason is simple. The mind is designed to think. Thinking is not the problem. The problem begins when thinking becomes our entire experience of life. Imagine standing beside a beautiful river. The sunlight dances across the water. Birds move through the trees. A cool breeze touches your skin. But instead of experiencing those things, your attention is trapped inside thoughts about work, bills, relationships, or future plans. Your body's beside the river. Your mind is somewhere else. The river is real. The thoughts may not be. This is one reason so many spiritual traditions emphasize presence. Presence brings us back to reality. Not the reality created by imagination. The reality unfolding directly in front of us. Many people spend years searching for peace. They believe peace exists somewhere in the future. If I get the right job, then I'll be at peace. If I find the right relationship, then I'll be at peace. If I earn enough money, then I'll be at peace. Yet whenever one goal is achieved, another quickly appears. The destination keeps moving. The search continues. What many spiritual teachers discovered is that peace is not necessarily found by changing external circumstances. Peace often emerges when we become fully present with what already exists. This does not mean ignoring problems. It does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It simply means recognizing that life is happening now, not later. The present moment is the only place where life can actually be experienced. Think about the past. The past exists as memory. Think about the future. The future exists as imagination. Both are useful. Both serve important purposes, but neither can be lived directly. Only this moment can be lived. Only this breath can be breathed. Only this step can be taken. Only this experience can be experienced. Nature understands this effortlessly. A deer is not worrying about next year. A bird is not replaying an embarrassing moment from 3 months ago. A tree is not comparing itself to other trees. Nature exists in direct relationship with the present moment. Perhaps that is one reason people often feel calmer when spending time outdoors. Nature reminds us of a way of being we have forgotten. Children often understand this naturally as well. Watch a young child exploring the world. They become completely absorbed in a butterfly, a puddle, a flower, a clower. For a moment, nothing else exists. The experience itself becomes enough. As we grow older, many of us lose this ability. Our attention becomes divided. Our minds become crowded. Our schedules become full. The present moment becomes something we pass through rather than something we inhabit. Spiritual practices often serve as reminders. Meditation reminds us to return. Breath awareness reminds us to return. Prayer reminds us to return. Walking in nature reminds us to return. Silence reminds us to return. Again and again, these practices gently point us back to now, not because the present moment is magical, but because it is real. When we become present, something interesting begins to happen. The mind slows down. not because thoughts disappear completely, but because we stop chasing every thought that appears. Imagine sitting beside a road, watching cars pass. You do not need to jump into every car. You can simply observe. Thoughts work the same way. They come, they go. Presence allows us to watch without becoming lost. This creates space, and within that space, wisdom often emerges. Many people discover that the majority of their suffering comes not from what is happening right now, but from what they are thinking about right now. The mind creates stories about failure, stories about fear, stories about what might happen, stories about what should have happened. These stories can become so loud that they drown out the reality of the present moment. Yet, when attention returns to now, something surprising often appears. This moment may be far more manageable than we imagined. That this breath is okay, this step is okay, this moment is okay. Life becomes simpler, not necessarily easier, but simpler. The present moment also teaches gratitude. When attention rests fully here, ordinary experiences become extraordinary. The warmth of sunlight, the sound of rain, a conversation with a friend, the taste of a meal, the feeling of wind moving through trees. These moments are available every day, yet they are often missed because attention is elsewhere. Presence reveals the richness already surrounding us. Many spiritual traditions describe awakening not as becoming something new, but as becoming aware of what has always been here. The present moment is part of that awareness. It is not something we create. It is something we notice. Every breath becomes an invitation. Every sunrise becomes an invitation. Every step becomes an invitation to return, to slow down, to pay attention, to experience life directly instead of merely thinking about it. This does not mean abandoning goals. It does not mean ignoring responsibilities. It does not mean rejecting the future. It simply means remembering where life actually happens, right here, right now. The future will arrive as the present moment. Tomorrow will arrive as the present moment. Every experience you'll ever have arrives in exactly the same way as now. Perhaps that is why so many spiritual traditions emphasize the present moment, not because it is a philosophy, not because it is a belief, but because it is the doorway through which life itself enters. The past has its lessons, the future has its possibilities, but the present moment contains your life. And every time you return to it, you return to yourself. So take a breath, look around, feel the ground beneath your feet, listen to the sounds around you. Allow yourself to arrive fully in this moment, not because this moment is perfect, but because this moment is alive and life is waiting for you here. There's a teacher that has existed long before books were written, long before temples were built, long before humanity created philosophies, doctrines, and systems of belief. This teacher has no classroom, no degree, no title, yet it has guided countless people throughout history. That teacher is nature. The forest teaches without speaking. The river teaches without preaching. The animals teach without writing a single word. The changing seasons reveal truths that many spend their entire lives trying to understand. The lessons are everywhere. The question is whether we are paying attention. Modern life often disconnects us from these teachings. We spend much of our time indoors. We stare at screens. We move from one responsibility to another. We fill every quiet moment with noise, yet something remarkable happens when we step into nature. The pace of life begins to slow. Our breathing becomes deeper. Our thoughts become quieter. We start to notice things we normally overlook. Nature does not demand our attention. It simply waits patiently for us to notice. One of the first lessons nature teaches is patience. Look at a forest. A mighty oak tree did not become enormous overnight. It spent years developing roots before it ever reached impressive heights. It endured storms. It survived droughts. It adapted to changing condition. Growth happened slowly, almost invisibly, yet year after year it continued. Many of us become frustrated because our personal growth does not happen quickly enough. We want immediate results, immediate healing, immediate answers. Nature reminds us that meaningful growth often happens slowly. The most important transformations cannot be rushed. A seed does not become a tree by demanding it happen faster. Growth unfolds according to its nature. Perhaps our own journeys are not so different. The river offers another lesson. Watch a river long enough and you will notice something extraordinary. It rarely fights obstacles directly. When a mass of rocks stands in its path, the river does not become angry. It does not complain. It does not quit. It does not quit. It simply flows around the obstacle day after day, year after year after year. Eventually, even the hardest stone begins to change. Many people approach life's challenges by resisting everything they cannot control. Nature suggests another possibility, flexibility, adaptation, persistence. The river teaches us that strength is not always force. Sometimes strength is the ability to keep moving forward without losing your nature. Animals teach lessons as well. A bird does not spend its day worrying about what another bird thinks. A deer does not compare itself to the animals around it. A fox does not measure its worth against impossible standards. Animals exist fully in the present moment. They respond to what is happening now, not to imagined futures, not to regrets from the past. Human beings possess incredible intelligence. Yet that intelligence often becomes a source of suffering. We replay old conversations. We worry about future outcomes. We create stories in our minds that may never happen. Nature gently reminds us to return to this moment, the only moment that truly exists. One of the greatest spiritual lessons can be found in the changing seasons. Spring teaches hope. After months of cold and darkness, life returns. Flowers bloom, trees awaken. New growth emerges from what once appeared lifeless. Spring reminds us that renewal is always possible. No matter how difficult the winter's been, summer teaches abundance. The days are longer. Life flourishes, energy expands, nature demonstrates what it looks like to fully express its potential. Summer reminds us that there are times in life meant for growth, creativity, and action. Autumn teaches surrender. Leaves fall from trees. Nature begins releasing what is no longer needed. The tree does not cling desperately to every leaf. It lets go, trusting that new growth will eventually return. This lesson is difficult for many of us. We hold tightly to relationships, identities, beliefs, and expectations long after they have served their purpose. Autumn reminds us that letting go is not always loss. Sometimes it is preparation for new growth. Winter teaches stillness. At first glance, winter appears lifeless. The trees stand bare. The earth becomes quiet. Activity slows. Yet beneath the surface, important work continues. Roots deepen, seeds prepare, life gathers strength unseen. Many people fear periods of stillness in their lives, moments when progress seems invisible, moments when answers are unclear. Winter teaches that not all growth can be measured by what is visible. Some of the most important transformations occur beneath the surface. Nature also teaches acceptance. A mountain does not wish it were a river. A river does not wish it were a forest. The eagle does not envy the wolf. Everything fulfills its purpose by being fully itself. Human beings often struggle with this lesson. We compare ourselves constantly. We measure our worth against others. We believe we must become someone else before we can be happy. Nature offers a different perspective. The flower blooms by being a flower. A tree grows by being a tree. Perhaps our path begins by becoming more fully ourselves. The forest teaches community. Every tree appears separate above the ground, yet beneath the soil their root systems often connect. They share resources, they communicate, they support one another. What appears separate may actually be deeply connected. The same may be true of humanity, so we often focus on our differences. We share far more than we realize. We all experience joy. We all experience loss. We all seek meaning. We all long to belong. Nature reminds us that connection may be deeper than appearances suggest. Perhaps the greatest lesson nature offers is humility. Stand beside an ancient mountain, look into the night sky, watch the endless movement of the ocean. Suddenly our problems seem smaller, not because they do not matter, but because we remember that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. This realization can be deeply comforting. We do not have to carry the entire world on our shoulders. Life has been unfolding for billions of years. The sun continues to rise. The seasons continue to change. The rivers continue to flow. Nature reminds us that existence itself is trustworthy. The next time you walk through a forest, pause. The next time you sit beside a river, listen. The next time you watch birds crossing the sky, pay attention. Nature may not speak with words, but it is always teaching. The question is not whether the lessons are there. The question is whether we're willing to learn. For those who listen closely, every tree becomes a teacher. Every river becomes a guide. Every animal becomes a reminder. Every season becomes a lesson. And every step through nature becomes a step deeper into understanding ourselves. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Remember, you're perfect. to just the way you are.